Welcome to the Mr. Fatboyshow, Season 6, Episode 10. Before I get started, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop something. I'm about to go in. I ain't got no background music today. I'm getting straight to the point. Straight to the topic. Name of the topic today is gang culture. Yeah. I got to speak on this because we as OGs, we have got to get more involved with our youth. We got to let them know what the meaning and the principles of everything they get into, what it means. We got to be able to direct them in the right path and not lead them down the fucked up road. And if you live that life yourself, it is your duty as a human being, as a man, to not let a bunch of children follow that same path and go down that same fucked up road. Alright. Yeah, and this is smoking. I might have to put him out so I can talk to y'all. Gang culture. What's wrong with gang culture? Gang culture is being misrepresented to a way that instead of being a positive, it became a negative. And not only that, you end up doing more harm than good. And that was not the mission of the gangs. Let me get in that. The gangs started mid-60s through the 70s. And what they was an extension of the Black Panthers. They came together and they realized we don't need the police to police us. We'll police ourselves. So that's what the formation of the gang was about. That's how they started. CRIP. It stands for Community Resistance and Progress. Blood, brotherly love, overrides and oversees destruction. Folks, gangster disciples, growth and development. They don't have 3-4 different names. The other I really can't tell you nothing about but them the three main ones that I always stuck in my head. Now, if you listen to what the definitions of these gangs is, believe it or not, that's powerful. That's powerful and positive. But what's going on today is not what they stand for and represent. The intention of the gangs was only to protect our inner city neighborhoods. Okay, this is what the gang supposed to do right here. If a police make an arrest in your neighborhood, on your block, the gang's supposed to come out there and witness the arrest and make sure that he follow the rules, the laws, make sure he don't plant nothing on that person, and make sure they don't beat them for no cause, and make sure they don't kill them for no cause. So their presence was felt like a form of security. Just like black police. So you was never meant to bang on your brother. You was never meant to cause death or harm to your own kind. That wasn't what the gangs were for. Only person you supposed to been banging on was the police and the KKK. That was it. Now, fast forward 20, 30 years later, the gangs have become, instead of being a protection organization, they have become terrorists. And black people are tired and they fed up with being afraid of their own children in their own cities and their own neighborhoods. They're afraid of y'all. That's why they can't do nothing with y'all. Y'all senseless killing. Don't care who out there. Shoot children, women, old folk. Y'all will give it to a nigga right in front of his kids, his family. It ain't used to be like that. That ain't what it was for. How did we go from being a protector of our own people to the destroyers of our own people? Certain states like California, St. Louis, Chicago, LA, Oakland, New York, certain places, they gang culture different than how it is in the South. Them places like that's real gang. Them folk mothers and fathers born into that shit. Mama was a Crip, daddy was a Crip blood, and you feel me? They was born into that shit. Some of them folk didn't have no choice. It was already just bred into them. And down south, I look at it as more like it was a trend. It was hip to do at the time. Right here in Atlanta, I'm from the A. Up in the early 2000s, let's say from 99 to 2009, I ain't see no game, man. Don't get me wrong, we always had folks that did bang a little bit, but they went no further from the underground than 5 points. If you were banging back then, from 99, from in the 90s to 2009, you couldn't go no further than 5 Point Station, downtown Atlanta. Because at them time we had projects. And the project rules and the project principles overruled that gang shit, what they were trying to do back then. You used to get ran out the neighborhoods. You used to get ran back downtown. The only place they allowed y'all to do that shit. We didn't play that shit when we were young. I don't know how or when it came so acceptable in the city of Atlanta. And it always been in the prison system. But it's a train of thought in prison. If you came into prison and started banking for protection, then you really ain't no banker, you false claiming. You can get killed for that. They'll beat you for that. You had to be banging in the streets before you went in the prison system. Because just going enough for protection, you still get fucked over. And then you ain't putting no work to actually claim that organization. So that's even more dangerous. But yeah, that wasn't like that down here. And I think when rich rappers start coming to the city, I got to call y'all out. When Wayne, Birdman, Ross, few more folks start coming in the city a little more often, they intensified that culture. They made young niggas follow behind that shit because they seen that's who had the money. I grew up in the dope man culture. The dope man culture was bad, but we didn't near cause as much shit as this gang shit doing. No sir. No sir. At least about the dope man culture, it was all about money and territory. You knew if this wasn't your turf, you didn't go your ass over there hustling over there. If you did, it was gonna be some consequences. You knew if you ran off on a motherfucking plug, that nigga want his motherfucking money, there's gonna be some motherfucking consequences. That was simple. But this gang culture, I see more niggas in the same gang killing niggas in the same gang. Now make it make sense. I'm trying to figure this shit out. I'm like, damn. Such and such, they killed such and such. But ain't them niggas blood? But ain't they blood? What the fuck is you being in that shit for? These Crips don't get along with them Crips. You feel me? Them GDs don't get along with them G. What is it? Now, if you stand for what you say, I can respect that. But just to be banging on your own kind for no reason at all, I don't respect that shit, man. It's too many children and innocent people getting caught up in that shit, man. You gotta stop. It must stop. God don't like it. The community don't like it. And the government don't like it. Right now they got this thing going on right here in Atlanta called 90 Days of Heat. And this ain't the first time they done did this. 15, 20 years ago when they did it, it was to target all drug dealers. Because drugs was the leader and the more problem from what they say back then. But the same folk complain about the drugs is the ones that's dropping this shit off. But that's a whole nother subject. We can talk about that all day. So they done created a whole task force just to target gangs. Now what they say for the children out here and for the parents, they don't gave these folk the green light to kill your motherfucking kids. That's what they done did. It's almost like the Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West. When they put up them warning signs, dead or alive. That's how they coming at your kid. And because having a criminal record is one thing, but having a criminal record on top of gang affiliation, them folk feel like they got the right to kill you as soon as they see you. 9 times out of 10, they already know you got weapons on you. Then your criminal history, they already know you got assault charges, so they know you will up the fight. So they get him the right to delete you off the muscle. So now, instead of being a protective organization, you have became local terrorists, and the government don't found a way to eliminate you. You're already black. You're already poor. You're already uneducated. Now you got this gang shit on top of you. Come on, man. Ain't gonna be no future if we don't shake up out of this mindset. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Jose Williams, Dr. Lowry, all them leaders that march for these rights so you can have these privileges. Man, these folk turning over in their grave, man. And the reason more almost aimed at the South, because when the rest of the world was free and the rest of the world was able to move around like a normal person, the South had to still go through that hatred. We still had to go through extreme racism. So, in order to wake up a sleeping giant that is the black community, that stand with honor, that stand with principles, we got to put this subject in their face and let them know how wrong and fucked up this shit is so we can change it. Or if not, it ain't gonna be no future. It ain't gonna be no leaders that come behind us. It ain't gonna be no more presidents, senators and judges, lawyers, people that can make real substance in our community. Parents, you got to stop condoning that bullshit. You see your child out there lost, get him some help. Kid, you got to talk to some kind of minister, some kind of coach, big brother, uncle, granddaddy, somebody. Please, man. Please. We got to save them. Or if not, they heading for destruction. And it's so sad. You keep seeing all these babies on the news every day. Mothers crying buckets of tears about their children. They ain't never coming back. Please stop this gang culture. Let's get back to living culture. I'm Nate the Great, Mr. Fatboy, and I'm out of here.